War is always evolving. Rock to club to blade to gun to laser gun to tank to Star Destroyer to Death Star, which knocks everyone back to the rock stage. Militaries always seeking the bigger and better weapon with which to wage war. It's just so competitive, and it always seems to cost an arm, a leg, and your beauty. I refuse to take part in this. Instead, I shall venture into every battle throughout 2005's Star Wars Battlefront 2 and stumble my way to victory with just blaster pistols, the weakest weapons in the game. Both the regular and elite blaster pistol, which I can only earn by killing 6 enemies without dying, are allowed with nothing else usable for combat. The elite blaster pistol is far more, well, elite than its counterpart, so I'll seek to minimize the use of it unless absolutely vital to progress. With elite difficulty selected to match and training skipped over, let's go show the galaxy that you don't need the biggest gun to win. Actually, I might have miscalculated. In Battlefront 1, I couldn't sprint, and I got used to the horrible auto aim, so this is a nice change. Now, instead of walking to my death, I can sprint into a fight, miss a bunch, and then perish. Best way to fight is to minimize how much I have to, by sprinting past the majority of the droid defense, and then pray with all I have that the killer bots won't notice me as I slowly whittle down the health of these massive turrets with my puny pea shooter. Curiously, even as all my men fall, the droids do ignore me, allowing me to demolish the turrets and make my way through the rest of the small resistance to steal an energy core for study. And by small resistance, I mean for me, as once again all my men fall in combat, leaving me to sprint, jump, and panic my way back the way I came as the last surviving member and miraculously make it to the gunship, bringing an end to the mission. Thank the Force that my enemies think so little of me to not kill me. If only the monstrous accolades of Felucia thought the same. No, they ignore the superior blast of all my fellow soldiers so they can hyper-focus on me. Maybe using such a puny weapon is just so insulting to them that I have to die first. Thankfully, 2 legs seems to beat 6, and then I'm off yet again to destroy many more turrets across the jungle. There's not any real droid resistance, except for the occasional tank shot aimed at me melon, but the turrets are a different story. Their massive health pool forces me to do the old fire, fire, stop, fire, fire, stop technique, as the turrets have terribly short-term memory, which is my only chance at victory. It takes 24 long, sometimes painful, minutes to trim down the health of these forgetful weapons and exchange the death-filled jungle for the death-filled beach. Please don't tell anyone, but I have to admit, I'm useless here. Any success found here is due to the Wookiees' sturdy defense, not mine. I simply exist for the crabs to feed upon when I inevitably fall. The first line in the sand is difficult to hold for the needed 3 minutes, but it does not compare to the heavy assault the droid army unleashes on our oil refinery. Defending it for 4 minutes feels next to impossible with the constant bombardment by tanks and rockets. I'm able to repair the gate that blocks out the tanks, since the repair tool isn't a weapon, but it doesn't do me much good when 0.5 seconds later, the gate is broken down again and again. Don't these droids have any respect for our exploitation of this beautiful land and our quest for oil? They're never going to earn their American citizenship at this rate. What really hurts is when the oil refinery blows up at the exact moment I reach 0 seconds left on the defense timer, rubbing in how close I was to success. Attempts 2 and 3 go even worse as I'm not lucky enough to even reach the oil defense, as I fail to hold the first objective. Attempt 4 thankfully works out much better when the Separatist army turns sweet on us, and doesn't use as many tanks in their assault, allowing us to keep our oil and counterattack, easily retaking the island. My trip to Utapau is where things go awry. The initial assault is smooth as Obi-Wan's face in The Phantom Menace, but when Grievous shows up, that changes to as smooth as Palpatine's forehead. If he wasn't moving at a light jog, he'd be a real problem, since he keeps deflecting the majority of my shots. Thankfully, he keeps having war flashbacks mid-fight, and that leaves him vulnerable. Coughing Cyborg down, I follow suit, as these large guns have far too much health for me to take down in time before the horde of droids kill me. Even my elite pistol doesn't do much better for me, leading to defeat. I cannot say no twice to the chance of playing as the legendary Kenobi. But don't worry, I only use him to capture the command post, without attacking even a single time. And while Grievous's men kill me plenty, I never fight the general himself again, as my men actually do it before I can help. It's seeming less and less impressive that Obi-Wan beat him throughout the Clone Wars. If only my clone bros could do me another service and destroy those turrets as the endless spawning droids wipe me out ceaselessly. It shames me. But I can't see any way to destroy these turrets in time, or the large whatever this thing is, without the use of explosives. Shooting this big pillar doesn't seem to even make a mark, so that's 3 separate moments in this battle alone where pistols aren't enough. If I thought Utapau was bad, it's youngling's play compared to the March on the Jedi Temple. For over 2 hours, I lead the 501st Legion in charging in, gunning down every pitiful defender, and promptly losing when the Jedi destroy their own library. Palpatine is an avid Snow White fan. He based his entire look after the evil queen after all, and the Jedi archives have a limited copy. So you understand, of course, why we call off the entire extermination of the Jedi Order if Palpatine can't have his book. Sure, it did take the Sith Order 1,000 years to plot this out, but that doesn't really matter now. The bookcases are super fragile, and well, lightsabers are lightsabers, and with so many Jedi, I struggle to halt their book burning. And if I do luck out and save the books, I stand 0 chance of assassinating the 4 Jedi Masters I need to in order to complete the battle. The first one alone easily wipes out my escorts, heals faster than I can damage him, and is smart enough to throw his lightsaber, making distance 0 trouble for him. Sometimes my team would successfully kill him, but even with over 50 reinforcements, I'd suddenly be at 0 in less than a minute when the other 3 Jedi Masters get to work slaughtering us. Some people just don't read the script. We're supposed to win. Only the elite blaster pistol finally gives me the damage output needed to slay the Jedi and crawl victoriously away. With Palpatine happy with his book, I take my far less stylish armor and make for Naboo. The Naboo guards know how to fight better than practically anyone, and it's a surprise when I survive as the last member. Turns out, cowardly avoiding fighting and focusing solely on the barely defend objective has its perks. More Jedi do show up, but none are masters, making for a much easier fight this time around. With the Queen of Naboo resting her eyes, I have to put down a droid rebellion on Mustafar. The fighting is intense, but surprisingly, this is one of the rare cases where having 0 backup is wonderful. My soldiers aren't dying in the background as they normally do, because they're doing nothing at all. From what I can tell on my map, they're all just standing around somewhere safe while I single-handedly fight my way to capturing the enemy's command post. It's not ideal, but it's better than the alternative of them dying uselessly. Then off to Kamino for a clone rebellion. Last time I was here, Boba Fett easily dealt with the initial assault. Since he's not an option with this challenge, I find, much to my dismay, that the lock on the door is far sturdier than whatever Grievous was made out of. With clones picking us off, I'm forced to shoot at it from afar at first, till the clone resistance dies down, and then move closer to slowly break it. This incredibly slow destruction of property is pretty much what this battle boils down to as I destroy the cloning labs. I'd love it if my team helped me out with their far superior firepower, but I guess they want me to do it alone, so I can build character or something? Thankfully, the clones don't bother us much, until the end, when we're ordered to destroy 2 fleeing gunships within 5 minutes. My pistol is doing next to nothing, so sadly, after all that console shooting, I have to whip out my cannon again and add 2 more non-pistol targets to the counter. With 2 rebellions stomped out, I now have to halt another one as a prison break occurs on the Death Star. The fighting isn't the worst for me, but even with my elite pistol by the end of it, I can't stop the prisoners and suffer defeat at their hands. My side had died at record speed, and looking at the stats, I understand why. I'm not sure why half my team decided to kill more of their own allies than enemies, But that might be on me for putting hallucinogens in their blue milk earlier. I just wanted to spice up their day. My bad. The second try does go better, with me surviving with, well, honestly, I can't even see my health bar anymore, so I'm not sure how I survived. But I did, shooting my way through the rest of the prisoners, but disappointed yet again to have to resort to explosives to take out their escape craft in time. At least I can count the battle in this small rebel rock to be a very easy one, so I can look fondly back on it as a swarm of rebels keeps putting me down in the next fight. These little cockroaches are all over the ship. Probably because it's theirs and they don't like our invasion, but I wish they'd let up. I also wish Princess Leia wasn't such an amazing shot. Or whoever this is, anyways. I thought it was Leia, but the game tells me it's MM065. So what do I know? Really odd name, since every other rebel has a normal name, like Aaron or Kip. Normal for Star Wars, that is. Luckily, my second attempt goes better when I discover MM, Leia's body double, just crouching there, making for an easy win. With her captured, we skip across all of A New Hope and find ourselves invading Yavin 4. Like every visit here, it goes brutally for the Empire as the rebels put up much better of a fight. I struggle to hold them off, losing twice to their superior shooting. Recognizing my armor does me no good, I find myself a nice big comfy tank to move around in safely, even though I'm not allowed to fight back with it. Using it as a safe transport, I assassinate the rebel leaders and make my way to Hoth for the final battle of the war. Last time I was here in my explosives only challenge, it cost me over 4 hours. So I guess I should be thankful it only cost me 2 hours this time around. I don't feel particularly appreciative as my body flops to the ground as the best rebel snipers I've ever had the displeasure of being targeted by put me down every few moments. The AT-ATs would be great at wiping them out, but they seem much more interested in turning the wrong way for sightseeing, I suppose, and the endless droves of rebels are just too much. I really strained myself just capturing the first objective, where I'm usually the last remaining trooper, and it's next to impossible to take the second command post. Even if I can earn my elite pistol, there's just too many root and toot and eagle-eyed marksmen around for me to survive for any worthy length. So much so that it comes as a surprise to me when I keep spawning, even at the start of a match, with the elite pistol. Apparently, I had earned it so many times over this campaign, even though I rarely used it till this one battle, that the Empire has given it to me permanently. That miraculous change doesn't lead to victory right away. But with the extremely careful use of cover and medical plus ammo droids, am I able to overtake the rebels' fortifications. It does come at the cost of one more use of non-pistol work to destroy the rebel shield generator, but with its destruction, I'm able to fight my way through the rebel base and just barely plant an orbital targeting beacon for our fleet. Defending that beacon for a whole minute feels like I just overestimated my power while facing high ground gifted Obi-Wan. But somehow, despite being hit with an armory's worth of grenades, the beacon isn't destroyed and we can claim victory. Huzzah! With 7 total non-pistol uses, all for explosive reasons, over 8 hours, 5 minutes, 44 defeats, and 316 deaths, I'd argue you can't beat 2005's Star Wars Battlefront 2 with only pistols. But you can come close. That took me 20 minutes longer than my explosives only run, with 25 more defeats added on, most of which are thanks to the Jedi Temple. I thank you all for watching and truly hope you were entertained. I'm off now to enjoy a nice vacation on the second Death Star. I'll see you all when the rebellion is squashed. See you later, friends.